KapsOff episode 8. The KapsOff team just want to take a moment to say, our duty is to elevate all people from all backgrounds, regardless of your colour or creed. We want to share and spread awareness on all topics and subjects, hoping that it reaches and touches the hearts and minds and spirits of all our viewers. We believe in positive energy and speaking out to manifestation. Wisdom consists of anticipation of consequences, meaning the questions we ask can lead to a positive or negative consequence. In other words, think first before you move. With that said, of course, I want to introduce my fellow hosts.
AIDA, aka Mr. Smith.
And also the main man, Yassot.
Hi everyone, here's Shaka.
We have a special guest here with us today. He's a youth development worker who does a lot for the community. Please tell the viewers your name, please.
What's going on? My name's Nick, also known as Nicholas, but my mum only calls me Nicholas when I'm naughty. You know the ways there. But everyone calls me Nick. Yeah, but I'm a youth worker from over in Castlevale sides.
Birmingham.
Yeah, Birmingham.
Birmingham. Okay. Just for the viewers who don't know,
Oh, sorry,
Castlevale is in Birmingham.
That's in Birmingham.
I just want to kick it off with just explain, to the masses, to the people that are watching, exactly what it is that you do
So on a day-to-day basis.
on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
How about
month
before we
basis.
get to that,
Yes.
just tell us a little bit about yourself first?
Let's get to
yeah.
that.
Okay. So I'm from Birmingham. 36 years old. I've been working with young people for about 18 years, since I was like 18. Yeah. Started off in Showden Heath community area, which is in Birmingham as well. So I'm close to Smallheath, which is where I grew up, Borsley Green, Smallheath.
Me too.
Yeah. So B9, B10. Yeah. So I started off there, and I was basically doing like holiday schemes, play schemes. Young people would come in, and then we'll just do like a few play schemes, activities like games. Not really take them out as much because the funding for the council was totally different to what I do now. So it was just basically putting on activities so the young people could access and take part in just fun games, like games such as like Duck Duck Goose, Dodgeball, take them to the park, just little activities. From there, I progressed. Like I was at uni at the time, so I went to Cov Uni, but uni wasn't for me, so I was doing business IT at Cov Uni, and I was enjoying the lifestyle, but not really the, learning and going to lectures and stuff.
Yeah.
So fast forward, I ain't gonna go all into it, but fast forward a bit, there was a job opportunity that came up in Castlevale, and I was able to become a full-time youth worker over there. And then from there, I just developed my craft and just developed from being a youth worker, putting on activities, looking for funding opportunities, funding streams, going on, taking young people on trips, doing residentials, doing different projects, and then working in schools, so doing a bit of mentoring in schools, projects such as knife crime projects, drug awareness projects, so all of that, and it's all rolled into one, which is basically just, as a youth worker, we kind of try and tackle issues that young people have, but in a way in which we can give them some positive outcomes from the things that they face on a day-to-day basis.
No way. So you know what? You just said something there then about like coming up with the youth and mentoring and that. So basically all of that wrapped up, you've got skills as being a mentor as well as being a youth development worker as well then?
Yeah. So I think with the mentoring stuff, it's mainly in schools. So I don't know if I don't think I should say the schools' names, but I could. Yeah. But there's two schools, one in the Castlevale area, GWA we're calling, should abbreviate. So I've worked in that school. And just done a bit of mentoring, working with the young people on different issues. And then there's another school in Eddington that I worked in. So the mentoring side of thing is when the school identify young people to have certain issues, I won't say problems, but certain issues in which they think that a youth worker or a mentor can help, help them with these issues. They kind of put them on our path, like in our direction, and we kind of like have conversations with them. So the mentoring is kind of like informal learning. You're in a formal setting in terms of school where there's rules and regulations, curriculum, but the mentors and the youth workers that go in, it's kind of like, what are you doing, man? Come on, man, fix up. Like, you know, we can talk to them on a different level. We can kind of raise that, build that relationship up where we're saying, actually, you know what, we're not like teachers, but we understand that they've got a job to do. So we can try and be the bridge and link the two so that they both can coincide. So in other words, the young person's doing their schoolwork and the teachers are getting the best out of the young person.
So they can relate to you more so than they can relate to the teachers in the schools.
That's the idea
which makes
behind
them
it.
feel more comfortable because they can relate to you.
So that's
the way
the-
you approach them, kind of thing.
100%. So that's the idea behind it. I mean, it doesn't always work like that, because I could be someone that they just cannot identify with. Do you get what I'm saying? But in some instances in my career so far, I've worked with some young people that have been receptive to the things that I've been saying, and that's based on my life experiences, things that I know, even telling them I'm from Small Heath, even telling them I know such and such, or you know, and that's
they feel
kind of
more
works.
comfortable when they can relate to who you know, and they also know that person. Then it makes them feel more at ease.
Folks, at what age is it that you start from?
So the youth work that we do over in Castleville is it's from 8 up until 18, like primarily, but there's scope to go on further. So there's still people that are 19, 20 that might still come to us for help, and there's loads of things, there's loads of issues that we still work with young people and the older people as well. We'd certainly, so like we could have a 24-year-old that come up to us and say, oh listen, I need help doing a CV, and we can then we can signpost them to different organisations. But a lot of the stuff that we do is in-house. So where I work, it's for the housing association, but there's different so there's a youth team, there's a health and wellbeing team, there's an employment support team. So with all of the youth work that we do, if we know that we've got a young person that might need some support in writing a CV, we can write the CV for them, or we can do the CV, but we can also point them in the right direction of the employment support team. So that's why the age, we start from 8 to 18, but it can go further. And then with the youth development side of things, it's basically just going to different areas and identifying the need of youth work, and then trying to pick it up there. So for argument's sake, we're all from Small Heath. What I do, or what I'm part of, I can't say it's just me solely because it's a team, like, you know, I'm just a youth development worker, but the rest of the team, there's nothing like that in there where we come from. There's nothing like, we had Munch Street back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day,
That's some memories.
so Small Heath, Birmingham, we had Munch Street, and that weren't that good, you know what I'm saying?
You're lucky if your school had a youth club and that, if you're lucky, really.
Alright,
Seriously.
so but with the stuff that I do, we imagine we get funding in, and obviously funding's tight now because the world's changing and stuff like that, but back in the day, we would take kids to Drayton Manor for free. We would just get the funding in that would allow us to take the kids to Drayton Manor, and then eventually we had to start putting a charge on it because we just can't get the funding in, or we can't afford to, like the organisation, you know. So we would subsidise the cost. So if we say if Drayton Manor say if it costs 30 quid, for argument's sake, I don't think it does, but I'm just saying if it costs £30, we would try and pay the majority of that and just ask for a contribution from the parents just to help them, you know. And that's kind of what the youth work is, and that's what it's about. It's about just enabling young people to kind of reach their aspirations, you know, like rather than change their aspirations, it's more about just helping them get to that stage. So that's basically what it is.
So keep their goals and what they think in their future, and try and aim it for the highest that they can get out of it.
Yeah, because so say for example, we got a young person that could get the grades to being a doctor, could be a lawyer. My job isn't to say to them, oh, you should be a lawyer, you should be a doctor. My job is to say, well, what do you want to do? And that young person might want to just work in their family business. So then my job isn't to say, go, nah, you can do that.
And I bet they've never been asked that question.
My job is to say to them, all right, cool, you want to work in family business, that's cool, you've got the potential to do this, so how about you look at this, but if that's what you want to do, go and do that. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's basically.
What sort of experiences in life that you've obviously gone through or endured that made you decide this is the sort of path that you want to take?
You know what it is? So, my man here, you get me? Big cuz. No, serious, like manners and respect. My big cuz put me on the straight and narrow. I'm, you know, I got a good family background, a good family makeup. When we was growing up, it was all about trying to get those stripes on it, like as and when you're somebody's
Young
cousin,
males.
yeah, young males, and when you're someone's cousin, you want to live up to that hype. But the big cousin was saying, nah, don't do that, and I kind of like looked at it and was like, yeah, that's not really me, you know, like I'm just a cool guy that's, you know, that tries to get on with everybody, and then what happens is that you go through certain things, and my thing is this: I don't ever want to see anybody go through something and sit back and know that I could have said something and not done it, and that's what basically.
And that would have made you feel. So if that, you know, what you just said, would that would have made you feel guilty if you hadn't have said something at that time?
Yeah.
You know, personally, because that person was around you, you saw them going down a certain path, and you thought at the time.
It's not so much the paths, you know. It's more of the, like, if someone decides to do what they're doing, that's on them, and I'm still gonna be their friend or their brethren, or like I'm family members or whatever. So I'm still gonna respect them for what it is. But it's more of the, you know, the people that we overlook. You know, like, so. I've got friends and family, and if everyone that knows me knows that I would try and help anybody that I can. Do you get what I'm saying? But you know, with young people, they don't really have that voice. You know, and sometimes I've seen some young people that are just being angry, yeah, and all they need is say, "Oh, come, let's go sit down." Kind of like what you know, yeah, you know, a bit of guidance. Someone just put their arm around them and say, "Yo, come, what are you talking about? What you get mad for?" And I feel like that kind of rubbed off, and I kind of just wanted to give a little bit of that back, and then that's what and then from there it's snowballed and escalated, because it's not so much that I'm in situations where I'm dealing with people that are going through so many different dramas on a day-to-day basis. It's like no day's the same when it comes to youth work. So something else could come up, but it's just basically applying what I have and then trying to just say, oh, you know what, things will be better, and giving them a little bit of hope, a little bit of, you know. So that's basically where it
Just a push
comes
on it.
from. Yeah.
It's a little push, a little stepping stone, which they're not getting normally, but they need somebody to actually, you know, give them that guidance, basically.
Try.
Switch their mind around on a positive way. Fair play. All is good.
So how do you think the youth today are compared to your generation growing up?
I said my generation, you know. You know what? That is a big boy question, and you know what? In my humble opinion, so I know my craft, I know what I do, but in my humble opinion, I think that the youth of today, they've got more opportunities, they've got more. Things are more accessible to them. Everyone always says social media, and yeah, social media is the biggest platform. Social media can be used for positive things.
Definitely.
Okay, all right, cool. But the young people, or some young people, see the glory. So when I was saying earlier that it's about getting those stripes when I was growing up, and then until I realized actually, you know what, I can get stripes in a different way. Yeah. Some young people feel that the stripes that they want to achieve, and how they're going to achieve it, is by carrying the biggest knife, or doing, like, you know, back in the day when there used to be happy slaps. You know, when people, but he's now taking it to that next level.
You've been tangled.
So all of them things there, I'm not me personally, you know, but all them things there, they've taken it to another level. So they've taken it to another extreme. Now, when we was growing up, I say we, but you man are a bit older than me, but you know.
Yeah,
Not too much, man.
I'm the youngest here, you know. But anyway.
I'm saying, and leave that for them not to decide, innit? But when we was growing up, our generation, okay, our parents, they still had so our grandparents, they came over here and it was just, you must do this, you must work, you must get education, blah, blah, blah. Then that rubbed off on our parents. So our parents, but then because our parents were kind of, and I'm talking, we know what we did when we was growing up. So our parents kind of knew that actually, you know what, there's a couple of times when my mum's sat me down and got upset and emotional because she said, Nicholas, I don't want you to be, you know, I want you to do something with your life. That's happened. So they're kind of, our parents kind of loosen the reins a little bit. Then when we have children, we've definitely loosened the reins. Not to, like, my youngest has got me on box. Like she can say, and I'm doing it because, so I think that's what's happened in the generation, that I think parents have kind of relaxed on their, not parenting, but parenting. Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying?
So do you think that children get away with more things nowadays than when we was younger? Than
100%, fam. Listen, when we was walking on the road, listen, mum will take me market, carrying the bags like mule, like Shrek. You get me, like donkey or Shrek, and carrying all kind of bags.
Listen, you're lucky. I used to have to carry the trolley. You know what the
the trolley you have to put along in it.
And you know when you're walking and the bus goes past and
You see the jeans? You see the jeans? You have to hide, fam. You see the thing like, yo, you know I'm talking in it.
No,
so
sorry about this, everybody.
Yardley Green Road.
Sorry about this, everybody.
So you're telling me now, yeah, you think you can drag your... Nah, that's not happening. And then even when we was growing up now, so say if I'd see one of my mum's friends, it wasn't never, oh, there's so-and-so. It was always, hello, Mrs. Powell, hello, Mrs. Sergeant. Manners and respect. So that's what it is now. And the fear, and because, you know, like my granddad. So I'm proud of my granddad. So if my mum said to me,
that's the way it should be.
Carry on and I'll tell you, granddad, boom, there's no messing about.
You see what the killer was? You see, his granddad now, right, is my great uncle, and trust me, my man was ruthless to all of us, you get me? When he used to see us now, you get me, you put it on you get me?
But that there installs respect though, doesn't it?
Yeah, Jay, listen, you have more respect than anything, because when you see him, you know if you're doing anything bad, you got to make sure you fix up quick time, so he don't even think, but he'd grab you up anyway, be like, where you going, what you doing, get home, and you're like, I'm only going shop, now I get home, and you're thinking, yo, how come you want me?
There is still with you, you carry that from now, like, even when you're 50, 60 years old.
You know, you could be 100, you get me, that you always remember that in stores, and that make you, you know what, if it, like I could say, you know, like when we was growing up, it was one of them that, even though it was installed us to always know when you see your elders respect, you do it anyway. You know what I'm saying? No matter what colour you are or whoever you are, you still have respect for whoever you see. And that's the one thing that, you know, brought to us really more than anything. But the same time, I was going to give one little thing was, yo, you mans was lucky when you was talking about, you know, pushing a trolley and bags. Yo, when we was younger, when Audi first come to England, yo, man, if you stepped in Audi and you was in my school in them days, and man see you going Audi, you're getting this for the rest of your life.
100%.
Yo, man was in Audi, you know. I seen man popping the Audi bag. You get me?
You're crazy because you see them things there.
Man, I
Like,
had to duck in Audi. Listen, I'm going in Audi with the hood up, my glasses. I'm running through.
I stood outside.
You get me?
I just stood outside like I'm waiting for someone. I didn't go in the shop.
Yo,
But
you
then
was lucky you didn't get beat in the shop. I got beat to go in the shop to pick up the potatoes and bring them out. It's like, yo, mum, don't joke.
And this is the whole joke though, because the thing is now is that what we're going back to in terms of the difference and the respect. There's no fear with these young people, so you can't tell a young person like they're just like, yeah, all right, cool, whatever. There's no fear. Like I asked some young people when I was at school, I used to fear a certain teacher. Well, a couple of teachers actually. We used to call him Silver Bullet. We used to wind him up. You get what I'm saying? But that teacher went on to do great stuff for that school and the community that I went to. What it is we were scared, but now when you ask a young person, who do you fear? They don't fear anyone. They don't fear the parents. Don't fear the grandparents. Don't fear police. So there's no. So basically, that to answer your question is that the difference is the young people just think they've made it basically, and they don't think that if I'm just gonna tell them a story about something, oh yeah, it's all right. So it don't matter because so-and-so, it happened to so-and-so the other day and they only got this. So there's no fear. There's no fear of repercussions, consequences. There's no respect element. And I'm not saying all. I'm just saying the troublesome youth that we deal with today, that's the main issue. Not all young people, because there's some amazing young people.
With that, I mean, like, what do you think the key is for them to understand that, you know, life's precious and it's serious and it can, you know, the consequences... This has a domino effect on both sides. It's like
I think we have to take time out to understand young people. I think the older generation have to take time out. So basically, rather than saying to a young person, "Oh, it's got to be this way," you've got to like understand that.
You've got to give an explanation as to why. When you're telling them this and that and the third, you need to tell them You need to explain what it is.
It is.
So if they're doing something wrong,
Mhm.
you can't just say don't do that, because in the kids' minds they're saying, okay, why am I not? Why are you telling me not to do that?
100%.
You know what I'm saying? You need to
100%.
explain why and the
Yeah.
consequences.
You have to.
If you continue doing it, this is the consequences going to have.
So
But if you sort of experience the consequence from that action,
yeah.
then you have
100%.
more validation to say
100%.
what the consequences
So,
are going to be.
so when it comes to the example that the biggest example that I can give is a young person being involved in drugs,
Yeah.
whatever, whether it's
Yeah.
taking, selling, whatever.
Yeah.
So so explaining to them the consequence is the first question they ask me. I bet you did this.
Yeah.
It's not your business what I did back in the day. Is what I'm telling you now. Do you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it's also okay. So 9 times out of 10, I have frank and honest conversations. So and then it's also being able to tell somebody else's story and say, well, this has happened to so and so. Now we're from
and
a
show
manner.
them proof of that as
Of
well.
100%.
Show them evidence of that.
We're from a manner whereby we've all grown up and seen some things. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all know. Yeah. And
Yeah.
whether it's directly us,
Or somebody that's close. or
we
someone
can tell.
know.
We're not without saying, we're gonna go. We're not gonna tell somebody's story or the full ins and outs, but we're gonna say this is what happened, or I witnessed this, or I seen this, or I know of this happening to somebody, and that's how I try
So
to explain it.
it's almost like you don't want to, but you're scaremongering
100%,
the kids.
100%,
You know what I'm saying?
100%. Only when it comes to that, the knife crime and the drugs, because the drugs side of things is a waste of life because you're wasting your time, because all that will happen is if you do get caught, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay, with the knife crime stuff now, that's more serious, because that's more where I have to. We haven't. My organisation, the people that I work for, haven't directly been involved. Like, we've had young people, both victims and perpetrators, and we've had them in our buildings, or we've worked with them. We don't turn a blind eye. We just try to educate them as best as we can. So,
Ooh, I'm gonna let you finish, because
Okay.
I've got a 2-part question for you on that.
Okay.
You know, you just said
Okay.
something good.
So one time we're doing a summer scheme in a local park. One kid comes to the top of the park, pulls out a weapon. So we now had to stop our session and send the young people back to our centre to then deal with the person that was threatened and the person that was going to go home and get his thing. You know what I'm saying? The person that was going home to get his thing, semi-serious as a youngster. So I'm trying to hold the bike. Now, why am I putting I've got kids and family, I'm holding the bike, saying, I don't do it, because my thing is, please don't do it, because I know that if he gets to that stage, he could get hurt, and that could potentially be an end of my man's life, or, something, and he's going to get locked. So it's that kind of, it's kind of scaring them in that, but explaining to them at that, when you're in that moment, it's hard to explain to them there and then. Do you get what I'm saying? I mean, you can tell them, but it's whether they're picking up on it, it's whether they're listening to it.
Yeah.
And if your adrenaline's going, I can't tell you, cause don't do that, or because if you've decided, nah, that's it. So I have to respect that young person and say, okay, I get why you're mad now, but please, this is what's gonna happen. Think of this, think of that.
It's about taking
that's
yourself.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to say before, the 2-part question. I was going to ask you, how would you deal with somebody with a knife, and if they was coming with a knife to attack someone, how would you deal with that situation?
So with the company that I work with now, I've been there for like 12, 13 years. So previous to that, when I was working for Birmingham City Council, in our manor, small leaf, somebody that you might know, yeah, or you would have seen, pulled out a knife on my colleague, said, yeah, no, sorry, what happened was, those cricket bats, the plastic ones, yeah, back in the day, yeah.
Blue one.
Yeah. Man said the colour as well, the blue one. You know what I'm talking about, innit? And you got the stumps as well, innit? Yeah. So the kids picked up that, and he's hit a stone. He's hit a stone as hard as he can, and the bat's cracked, yeah? Because it's plastic. So I'm saying, what are you doing? Why have you done that? The boy that he's with didn't like how we was talking to him. So yeah, the boy ran home. When I say he picked up the biggest Rambo knife in my life, I'm saying raw. But I'm not worried, because it's not directed at me at that time. So I'm saying, okay, to my colleague, let me talk to them. Yeah, it's in the manner that I'm comfortable in, where I grew up, so I'm okay. This is what I'm thinking, okay? Bam. He's like, yeah, you want it. What? I'm trying to, you want it too?
Yeah.
I'm saying, all right then, cool, badge is off now, innit? Yeah? Because I'm thinking, oh, it's
a threat to your
it's a
life.
threat to my life. I can't, what am I doing? And it's evident, it's here. I'm like, raw, to be fair. And then it kind of like, few words. I'm saying, don't be stupid, you don't want to do that. But it's, remain professional as possible, yeah? But in sometimes you cannot. And it's about keeping that. So what you to answer your question is trying to be as professional as possible. But sometimes when you, you know, you think everything flashes through your head, and it's you kind of have. You're still human at the end of the day. Yeah,
That's
you're still
where
human.
Experience comes in, and
So I was young then. Yeah.
no amount of
Yeah.
teaching or books,
Mhm.
you know, can teach you that.
So at that time, what you're saying is spot on, because I was young then. I was younger. If that happened today, I think it's more of a, okay, let me assess the situation. Let me just get out of the situation. It's as simple as that. Let me just get out of the situation, because I know that people ain't going to allow certain things to happen to me because of you know, what the work that I do, whether it's family, whether it's friends, people just know. So you know, so it's about just getting out of the situation, and about, you know, protecting everybody in that situation, because ultimately I don't want to get stabbed. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody does, right?
No one does, and I don't want that young person to lose the little life that they have, because we can't tell how long we've got on this earth. So my point is just to kind of like move away from the situation as best as possible in the safest possible way. Basically, that's the best way I could do it. But when I was younger, take that badge off and let's go. So that's what it was at that time.
And we're all young, and you know, at the end of the day, growing up in this day and age, even back in them days, you know, a lot of people think, you know, there's the difference from then till now. The only difference is that back then there was no cameras. There's cameras now, and so it can be video shot just there and then. But back then there was no cameras, so someone was getting stabbed, and even though it wasn't on the news, the street itself was talking about it, and that was the news. But now the news is through internet and everything, and I think that's where one of the problems that we've got with knife crime, because a lot of the youth that I've noticed nowadays, they'll MC or they'll do what. No, they don't even need to MC. They'll just put a little snapshot saying, "Yo, I'm from this area, that area, whatever area they're from," and it's like, yo, at the end of the day, area codes should not be a thing. At the end of the day, you know, we're humans. You know what I'm saying? We should live in
100%.
peace as much as we can.
100%.
But
The
as
social media thing
yeah,
is dangerous because there's more exposure,
yeah,
and you know everybody's seeing you. So if a man gets this, then obviously the man's gonna want to retaliate.
Yeah, of course, because everybody can see that.
Yeah.
And it
It's a
makes them
pride. It's a
very
pride
small.
thing. It's a pride thing.
Yeah.
It's- And I think the young people that we've got, so the boys, they need to they want to be men, but they want to be men without doing. Or some young people, they want to be men without doing, like, you know, like having responsibilities or doing men things. You know what I'm saying? So like, I will sacrifice my pride. If I feel a certain type of way, I'm gonna sacrifice my pride and say, you know what, I feel this type of way. This is how I feel about this situation. This could be about how you've treated me. This could be how I feel about a female. It could be anything. But if I take my time out to sacrifice my pride and tell you something, I've learned that I'm comfortable in my own skin to do that. Young people with
That's
the
what
social
makes you
media.
more of a man, though.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
makes you-
So this is what I'm learning that as I go.
Yeah.
But you see, with that social media thing, where you saying someone got bottled, someone got stabbed, and it's on the social media, they have to react now because
somewhat, yeah.
everybody's seen it, and that's the problem with what I was saying with social media. Although it can be used as a positive,
Can we use it as a
the
negative?
negative is that it's out there, and once it's out there, and this goes to young girls as well, that expose themselves and you know do things. Once it's out there, it's out there. So there's no point in you thinking that you can do something to somebody that you kind of trust, and you send them something and think, oh, he's just gonna keep it safe, because these boys are punks, and it's bragging rights, and it's stripes. Oh, you got that off my go. Oh, let me show you this, and that's what it is.
Points, and it's
So, because what do you think we can do as a society and as a community, as everybody? What do you think we can do to try and change the younger generation's mind from not carrying a weapon and trying to do something positive for themselves and for the community?
I think, in my humble opinion, in my honest opinion, I feel that things like this, you know, conversations. I think conversations with parents as well. I think if you see it as well, call it. If if somebody's kid that you know is up to no, draw him up.
Draw 'em up. Yeah,
Draw him up and say,
people,
yo.
people are afraid to do that now.
If you know my man's son, I'd sooner you draw you up and say, yo, listen, I seen you going on bad. Like, what you doing?
Yeah.
And then you
take him home and say, listen, I saw him doing this.
and somebody's doing that now. So somebody in Birmingham's going around doing that, and it's a great thing. Right. It's a positive thing. I think. So I think that's one. I think parents just need to actually be
I think parents need to sit down as well with each other, and especially parents whose their children are in war with each other. I know it sounds a bit gonna happen, but it needs to happen. Yeah. And parents that feel their child is an angel when knowing
what's going on out there, what they're doing.
Yeah. Listen,
some certain parents are scared of their own kids.
Yeah, I think it's what comes. If I listen, a man had hay fever back in the day. Yeah, like my eyes were red. My mum would drop. Yo, you been smoking? I said, Mum, you know that hay fever. What you talking about? You been smoking? Nah, you been smoking. I tell my mum, I ain't been smoking. You been smoking. Even to like big man now, you know, it's like your eyes are red. Mum, I'm big man now, you know. So if I'm smoking, I'll tell you I'm smoking, but I'm not smoking, Mum. So that's what the problem is. The problem is parents don't call out their kids. If you don't smoke bud or you don't smoke weed and you can smell weed, where's it coming from? Well, it must have been with the people that he was hanging around with. Okay, all right.
Don't turn a blind eye.
Come on.
Don't play ignorant.
Come on.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
And that's with everything, you know. That's with everything.
So what kind of qualifications do you need to be, a mentor, youth worker, you know? So there's loads of qualifications out there. You can get a youth worker degree, level 3 diploma in young people in the workforce. You can get mentoring. So there's loads, but these qualifications. Some organisations want these qualifications. Some organisations want the experience. Yeah. Okay.
So it just depends on
the most powerful, the experience, or is it a level playing field between both of them? What you've just mentioned.
No. The experience outweighs that. 100%. I talk a certain type of way. I act a certain type of way. Put me in a room full of young people. I'm that confident. Yeah. Put me in a room full of my peers. I might not be the best. I'll be able to hold my own, but I might not be the best. Yeah. And that's just the truth. I know what my strengths are. If my strengths are to deliver a boxing session, so I can deliver non-contact boxing to young people, that's one of my best sessions that I could ever deliver, and that's what I'm probably known for around the community that I work in, because there's kids that you be in Sainsbury's, mind your own business, picking your chicken and whatever, you know, just picking your dinner. He taught me boxing, tap on you, and you're like, and then have a conversation. So I feel like the experience is what gets you to those levels.
Rather than the qualifications.
Yeah, the textbook, isn't it? Like, you can't tell me how to deal with a knife. If you're in the textbook,
if you never experienced.
Approach the young person with this. No. The boy's waving a shiny thing in your face. Yo, you know what I'm saying?
You know what to do if you've experienced.
Come on.
Yeah,
that's how it is, man.
Who's your hero? I switched it up, but who's your hero?
I got.
Or do you have multiple?
Yeah, I got two. Like Ian Wright, I'm an Arsenal fan. So Ian Wright is
big up Ian Wright.
Ian Wright's my. Just.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
I
can't change.
I can't talk to him about
What's it
football.
not anymore?
I'm not really a football fan anyway. I'm a glory hunter.
Chelsea.
No, whoever's the top, that's me.
Leicester. Leicester.
Nah, Man City.
Leicester.
You're not a football man anyway.
Yo, I'm Arsenal. You're talking about?
She's Arsenal.
So I'm an Arsenal fan. You're a Liverpool man, innit? You're Liverpool. Man, you. Yeah, that
man who.
Man who.
Support
Nah,
man.
to be fair, the man you they done the thing this season.
Okay.
They done well this season. They've done well.
Anyway, we'll leave football out. We'll do that for another show.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
We'll bring on some footballers and we'll have that.
Big on the Blues as well, though.
Your
Still
dad
be
was
nice.
talking.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
we're talking.
No, we can't talk that. They're from Birmingham, you know.
Yeah.
Birmingham.
Football match I ever went to.
That's
First-
what I
my
got. And
first
say
football match.
mine.
First football
First
match
football
ever.
match, Blues.
Yeah, Blues, man.
You get
Blues.
me?
Big up B9 all day,
You
man.
get
Yeah,
me?
100%.
You know that was our time.
I
So
got a question. So, looking back on your life,
Mhm.
is there anything that you would have changed growing up?
hold
to where
on,
you are now.
Hold on, cause we know
Go on.
that he didn't even answer his first question. What you said first?
Who's your hero?
Who's your two? He said he's got two heroes.
Oh, so
he
you
only
mentioned-
said
you
Ian
mentioned
Wright, so
football.
who's your
Yeah,
second
yeah.
Oh,
hero?
sorry, so
Second
yeah,
one.
right. This geezer, yeah. Levels, manners and
Hero.
respect. 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%,
Came to say that.
100%. You think you wanted me to
Must
say
have
it?
paid him.
Nah. You know, like serious, big and serious.
Nah.
My granddad and my mum's side, like, going back, I don't really want to go, but he come over here, better way of life, manners and respect.
Yeah.
Like, without him, none of it would have been possible. He set the, and he passed away 2020, so that hit man hard. You know what I'm saying? But when I look back and I think about the things the impact of people, I love Arsenal, supported Arsenal. Don't even know who I support. In fact, my uncle made me support Arsenal as a 4-year-old, and I've just followed them. I should support Birmingham City. That's all it is, because that's where I'm from. And I do, but Arsenal, I followed Arsenal as a young age, and that's all it is. But shocks, like truth, he was there for man, showing man, the road, showing man not to do this, not to do that, And I feel like that's where I got a lot of my teachings from. Even when I was doing paper round, they said it earlier, doing paper round, man, they're Shaka's cousin. All right, cool, I'm just doing my paper round, Oh, you're Shaka's cousin? Yeah, I'm just doing the
So
paper round.
basically, he was your mentor.
Yeah, he was my mentor
He was
growing
your
up.
mentor,
Yeah. And then through that, I managed to learn. Like, I managed to just conduct myself in a certain type of way and just I identify situations, because my mum and dad didn't teach me those things. You know what I'm saying? My mum's tie up your shoes and make sure your flies ain't undone and all them things there. You know what I'm saying? Them little things there where Shaka saying, yo, if you see this, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You get what I'm saying? Like.
Because
It's life, innit?
being my little
Life
cousin and that.
skills.
Yeah, you know what? Honest truth is that, like we said before about lifetimes and things like that. More time I didn't ever want to hear any more. Like your younger family or anyone getting stabbed really. So to know that is my little cousin more than anything. I didn't even want him to see that kind of lifestyle, and coming from where we come from, yeah, you get that lifestyle. So honest truth on the real level is that, yeah, I tried my best to not show him that lifestyle, and like I say, I'm proud of him more than anything, to see where he's gone and what he's doing. I'm more proud than anything, and that's why I will say more than anything, because you know what, you're a role model to me, because at the end of the day, see where you've gone and what you've done and everything, because you make me more proud than anything, and what makes me do this here, what we're doing today. At the end of the day, we all got paths that we can lead down and end up, but we've end up in this path
Go
where
that
we
way
are.
or that way.
Yeah.
Or that way.
Yeah.
No,
So
that's nice, man. That's nice.
So,
You see your first guest that you had on here. I'm gonna touch on that. I had a young person. I'm not gonna say his name, but his initials HT. Big Liverpool supporter. So he'll know what he's gonna watch it. You see your first guy that you had on here. He the champion, yeah. And he's got a stammer, hasn't he? I have a young person that has that, or had that.
To that extreme, or
To that extreme. That extreme. And he was telling me the week before that he's struggling to talk to people. He's low on confidence. Didn't know. You brought out that. I messaged him and said, watch this. He asked me why am I watching. I said, watch it. He watched it, and through that, because of my man's story about being a champion and overcoming adversity, and you filled him with confidence. So when you're saying you're proud of me, I'm saying you man are doing youth work and you don't really realise you're doing it. You man are doing a policy, and that's the truth. That's on God, Like when I messaged him, he watched it. He messaged me today because I took a picture of this, and he said, "Let me know when yours is on." So you've got young people that are following it. So if you keep this up,
100%.
then
What's his initials?
HT.
Big up HT.
big up HT.
But even saying that my brother is going to be won't announce it yet. When he comes on,
Mm.
you know.
Well, no,
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
save
well,
that.
they won't say
Save
no
that.
more. The last question that we will throw at you before, because time's getting on. I hate when time gets on. But this question is, how do you see the future, and where would you like to see yourself in the future with everything that you're doing?
So the future in terms of young people and and how I see where it going, yeah.
Everything and
Okay.
yourself.
Okay, so for the young people, I think we've got so many amazing young people that do so many good things. I just think they just need to be pointed in the right direction. So I can see things getting better because I always have hope. I always have faith. But if they continue on this path, in terms of quickly picking up a knife, and it's not going to get anywhere. It's like they're not going to. It's like so many young people are going to have their life over before it even begins. So I feel like things like this and platforms like this and older people older than me coming forward and trying to do certain things, that's going to change certain things, and that's going to change young people's perspective, because they need to look at people that are actually doing certain things. Do you understand what I'm saying? So ex-roadmen coming forward and saying, yeah, boom, yo, I've lived this life.
Because they can identify with that.
100%.
That's what they're trying to be.
So that's one thing. I think we can use social media as a platform, something positive. So there's people that I know from Brum, like Mikhail Wright. He's into bodybuilding. There's young people that come to me.
The MMA fighter.
Nah, he's a bodybuilder. Venom.
I know who
Yeah.
that is, but I'm not going to say that. But anyway.
Okay. So there's young people that come up to me and say, "Have you seen my man?" I know my man. I know him. Do you get what I'm saying? Big him up. Young Frill Star, the one that does the Tintins on Instagram. I went to school with him. So Smash. Like, these are people. I'm not named. I know these people. I'm not. They're not paying me to do anything. But I'm naming. There's young people that come up to me and tell me about these people. I'm saying I know them. So it's people like them coming forward and doing certain things, which they are and which they have been doing, and trying to make a positive change in the communities and just Birmingham in general. That's gonna help. But for me, I think I don't know how much longer I've got in youth work, if I'm honest, because I'm not trying to be 40-year-old playing dodgeball or running. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to do that. I'm not close to 40 yet, but I ain't trying to do that. But
I'm so glad that you came onto the show, and from all of us, right, all I can say to you is that if there's anything that we can help and support, and you can support us or anything, definitely just let us know. And at the end of the day, we are about positivity and trying to get the youth together. So on that note, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for KapsOff TV for watching. See you next time.